Okay, we are now live. Good morning if you're in America, good afternoon if you're somewhere else other than America.
Good evening if you're in Singapore.
Woo! Oh dear, I'm dropping frames again, this isn't going to be good. Oh well. So, Zach and I are going to commentate the best of three, the last quarterfinal in Stratosphere, the last quarterfinal of the whole thing, between Weibin and Lukman Owalabi. We call him Phillips Owalabi over here, so if I accidentally call him Phillips, that's why. Here being the UK, he currently lives in Scotland. So
this is for the Virtuals tournament of June and July 2015, and Weibin is representing Singapore, and Lukman is representing Nigeria.
Should we commence with their head-to-head? Their one and only head-to-head that they've had.
Yes, please tell us.
So, Weibin and Lukman have had one head-to-head between them in the last however long. This was in 2012 in England at our national semis event, which was, I can't remember where. Wherever it was, I fell off my chair that event. That was hilarious. Lukman sneaked the game by 3 points ahead of Weibin. So it was a pretty tight game. He won, was it 3-7-5, 3-7-2, I believe. Though in the end, Weibin finished 6th in that event, and Lukman just missed out on qualifying for the finals that we have. He finished 3rd by about 133 points of spread, and Weibin had 9 wins. So you can check that out on Westbrook if you want to see how it worked. I was also playing in that event. I finished 11th. So just a bit behind Weibin.
When was this, Jess?
2012. In about September, November time, I think.
I was probably still learning my twos at that point. Probably still learning my twos to this day, but, you know.
Just wait until the Himalayan yak comes along. The Zoe.
So if you're wondering, the sloth icon represents me, and the duck icon represents Jess.
Yeah.
Didn't want you to get confused watching at home over there.
Wondering why there were weird animals stuck to the side of the board.
They're the best animals, really.
Oh yeah. Can't get much better than a sloth and a duck. Unless there was such a thing as a duck sloth. You know, a sloth with like a duck bill. That would be kind of creepy. So, in terms of the virtual standings, Lukman got through his game against Emmanuel Eddy with winning 2-0, whereas Weibin only won his match 2-1 against Sam. So, Weibin's had the advantage of an extra game, if you can call that an advantage. He's had more practice, kind of. He's also been at the King's Cup the past week. That's a big event in Thailand, if you're not aware of the King's Cup. I've never been to Thailand or the King's Cup, but apparently it's lots of fun and really noisy. So, Weibin's probably had tons of practice the last week. And I'm still dropping frames. This is terrible. I hope the stream's alright. So, at the moment we're just waiting for Weibin to restart his computer. He's lagging, probably almost as bad as I am. It should be fine though. I say should be. That's me like crossing everything. The winner of this quarterfinal match between Lukman and Weibin will play Orlet Bullock, the infamous Orlet Bullock and his Orlet words. He beat Evan Borowski 2-0, so according to him he's been luck boxing, so whoever gets to play him in the semis may have a super tough time. It's still driving frames. Do that.
Don't do what?
Don't open the Twitch, I can hear it. Have it on mute.
Don't. What?
I just opened my browser now, I'm kinda lagging. Oh no, I'm fine. I'm not lagging. That's nice. So I sort of don't have much else to say about Weibin and Lukeman. I think I've only played Weibin over the board. I'm pretty sure I haven't played Lukeman. This is just me calling Zach again.
Hello?
Hi Zach.
Hi, what happened?
You got booted. I don't know why. I didn't hit a button, so.
Okay, wait, how could you hear the Twitch?
I just could. It wasn't coming from my laptop at all.
Because I was wearing earbuds.
Maybe I've got super sensitive hearing.
Or maybe we just have, telepathic.
We do have telepathic stuff. Like the amount of words I was telling you to play yesterday and you actually played was like incredible. I thought that you must be listening to me. You weren't listening to me, were you?
No, I wasn't.
That's good.
Notice how all the important plays I did not play what you were telling me to play.
Like the S hook.
The S hook, uprooted,
Yeah. But there wasn't really much you could do in that game, or either of the games, to be honest. So, it's kind of unfortunate. You really want to have a chance in the games. So, we're kind of hoping these two matches are going to be a lot closer than the two matches yesterday. We're not going to spoil the result if you haven't watched them yet.
Could go to 3 matches knowing these two players, though.
Definitely. Weibin is a former World Youth Scrabble champion, so he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He'll be used to the pressure as well. The WIC doesn't have a final like we used to do in the UK for the nationals. We scrapped the final once Mattel stopped sponsoring it. So we don't have a final anymore. But the WIC used to have a best of 5 final, and that was scrapped after the first year because it was too stressful, apparently. I wasn't playing the first year of the WIC. I never met Weibin at a WIC. I started playing the year after he won it. That is, started playing the WICs the year after he won it. So, at least I think it was. Maybe it was the year after that. Who cares what year it was, right? What else to say?
So Weibin plus blank blank is bite wing.
It's quite interesting. I bet you he knows the word.
And Lukeman plus 2 blanks is 3 words. Human-like, unmakeable, and unman-like.
I'm pretty sure he won't like the last one. He'd never like to be described as that one. Human-like, definitely. Unmakeable sounds like quite a lot of racks. Weybin's also calling Lukeman Phillips, so that's kind of how we both know him. It's really irritating. Internationally, he's known as Lukeman. Nationally, in the UK, he's known as Phillips. So we're totally like, no. But Weybin was over in England for studying, by the way. So that's how we kind of met. He was studying in London, while I was still in London. I'm in London now, but yeah, I was still in London that time. And then we played a couple of unrateds, and we probably played a couple of rateds as well. I can't quite remember. That was quite a few years ago. I probably don't even remember yesterday. That's how bad it is. Hopefully they're talking. They've started the game. Woo! Started! So, Weybin's on the left. He's TWQ. And Lukeman's on the right as Africhap. So, Weybin straight away opens with Queen for 54. That is by far the best move. Queyn. And he's a verti. Gotta love those verties. I'm a verti. Zach probably isn't a verti. Probably doesn't like it.
I'm not a verti. I'm a horizonti.
Now that's just an awkward word to say.
Well, maybe I'm just an awkward person like that. So, Lukeman has alighted through the E and daylight through the Y and gilthead through the E. And those are the only 3 8s with his rack.
So he plays alighted for 72, and Weybin's got a very nice rack to counter. As far as I can remember, it doesn't make a 7, but there are 8s here. There's delation through the L, anointed through the N. What else?
Ideation, iodinate, and tanioid through the I.
Yeah, tanioid is a pretty nice one because it has those awkward vowel combination. IOI, tanioid. So that's pretty fun. Ideation wouldn't be too good because it does open the triple if you play it from A4. If you play it...
I'd say iodinate is probably the best here. It slots the D in doubles.
Yeah, iodinate. Yeah. The only thing is with iodinate, it is really susceptible to a high scoring counter, but wow. Araniids, double, I suspect. Araniids. You better protect me from these Araniids, you know. Please protect me.
I can try, but I probably won't get there in time. Slots aren't too motivated, you know.
Oh yeah. And my dad's not here to kill them for me. I believe they're spiders. That's why I'm so afraid. So I suspect the double is the best move, but Lukeman will probably just double check it. It's always worth spending a bit of time double checking. Unless you're Zach, you've got no time to double check. Which is kind of true.
For the first play, I have plenty of time to double check, but the rest of them not so much.
Okay, so Araniids is played for 86.
And Weybin picks up Prankle.
Ah, onto the S, or Plankers.
Plankers is a phony.
Is it? Wow.
Prankles would be the
valid anagram.
play.
I probably would have played plankers, to be honest. I guess it's someone that planks. Have you heard of planking?
Yes.
Yeah, I know a planker. I also know a couple of plonkers, but that's completely irrelevant.
No 7s or 8s for Lukeman.
Ah, they've ruined our streak. They've ruined their bonus streak. This is just awful now. How could they do this to us?
But he does have a pretty nice play of Kyrie, Kyrie, from the K. However, the best play would probably be to challenge off plankers.
Yeah, considering how much plankers gets, it's 78. And Wavin would have to deal with that rack again, and also knowing that that it probably only goes in that spot, it would be pretty easy to block as well. So long as you think properly. Oh, so Lukeman does challenge it, and Wavin goes back to being 34 points behind. So hooray for Lukeman.
So now he has Eyrie, Eyrie, from the Araneids.
36 points. I kind of suspect.
Doesn't open a spot for. Oh, it doesn't block Wavin's spot.
Yeah, it doesn't block it. So it would be kind of good to consider blocking it as well. Obviously, you'd have to sacrifice a load of points to block it. But then Wavin doesn't have the easy bonus option next turn. So it's probably a lot better to block the bonus than it is to just leave it there. That is assuming that it doesn't go with the A and the E, as a lighted or I alternates.
It does not. It only goes through a T, a D, or an S.
So I'm guessing Prankled, Prankles, and
Plankter.
Wow, Plankter. Is that like someone that eats plankton?
It's an organism that is an element of plankton.
Well, I was kind of close. I think I'll take that one. So I kind of suspect Lukeman to take a bit of time over here. It is kind of hard to actually block it fully because you can't play something like OE because Planker slots above that in row I, because POI is a word. Oh, well, Prankle would fit up there anyway. So that probably wasn't a very good block.
Well, maybe he was trying to force Wavin to bingo into the triple lane, knowing that he couldn't really block it that well.
Could be, but Prankle scores 83 now, and that's quite a high score considering.
Or maybe he's banking on the fact that Wavin doesn't know Prankle, considering he played Planker.
Yeah, maybe he could be banking on that Wavin would just play something like Plank for 31, but even still, that's quite a hefty score to kind of give away. Considering he knew Wavin's rack and possible options. We're assuming he knows that Prankle is a valid anagram. These guys are such good players, they probably do know it. Probably. It's not saying much about me and Zach. We need Ziziva to deal with this.
So Wavin perhaps did not know Prankle.
And he takes out the hotspot instead in column 8, the triple, for 36 points with replan. So Lukeman's got kind of clunky letters. He's got an F and a Y and a U. They don't really go well together, but he's got E-I-R-S, which go really, really well together. He can also now maximise the Q at D8 with something like query for 34. That's just an example. There's probably a better move down column 3. I suspect ending in Y. I can't think of 5-letter words ending in ly at the moment. But that's quite a neat hospital.
F-E-R-L-Y.
F-E-R-L-Y. So that does leave the complicated U-S-I.
Right, it means the U.
Yeah, it'd be slightly better to play query. Y's are quite difficult for bonuses. You have to put them at the end, or if you've got like an ERS ending, then they're kind of easy to put in the middle, but you rarely see a word with a Y in the middle or at the beginning. So that really limits what you can do with it.
Could play surly, but that burns the S. He'll probably want that S.
Yeah, but at this point there aren't really many S hooks on the board. Like there's iodinates, because I assume iodinate is like the salt made from like iodic acid.
It's a verb, I believe.
Okay, to make iodine, like. Okay. So Lukeman plays Furley for 39.
U-I-S.
Yeah. I mean, he is keeping the U for scoring next time as well. That could be what he's thinking.
With the Q?
Yeah, with the Q. Weibin quickly plays Neck for 35. So Weibin's catching up slowly. He's only 13 points behind now. So despite the fact he had a phony, he's still within fun touching distance to give us the enjoyable game. Lukeman plays Viate for 31. So he's kind of just scoring now, I think, but also that was kind of the best move on the board, especially with 5 R's and a V. There wasn't really much else to do there.
Now, Weibin does not have a 7 or a playable 8 on this board.
So that implies he's going to take the triple out at either A1 or A8. With something like vowel, I suspect. Or gravel or grovel or...
Wolf.
Wolf scores 33, Val would also score 33. Grovel gets 30.
Wolf is more defensive, however, Weibin is behind by 44 points. He probably doesn't need to be closing things off.
Yeah, he'd definitely want to keep things more open. He'd probably favour Vowel over Wolf just because it opens out another bonus lane in row B. Whereas Wolf doesn't create that bonus lane. And also there are the floaters at the bottom of the board as well, the L, the A and the N. Even though they're slightly limited, they're still there to play through. And there is the N of Queen. So there are floaters on the board. But they're kind of not very good. Even the Q's a floater, but that's a pretty rubbish floater. Ooh.
He does decide to play it closed.
Well, he's a better player than I am, so I suspect he's done that for a good reason. So, Lukeman plays Quims pretty quickly. He didn't have a 5-letter word that went to the triple that didn't use the S. And he needed to split up his W's. So, that was the best thing to do.
That's an Orlet word.
Oh, is it? Oh dear. Orlet's invaded our game again. Does that mean like I should cover my eyes or something?
Probably, although if you don't know what it means, then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. I think I do sort of know what it means. Just not going to say it. I guess there's kind of another thing. There's tea bag on this rack. There's no floating E on the board to make the actual word tea bag, but there's a letter T and a bag. And that's kind of an all-out word as well. Which is really bad. That's just me thinking about all-out words. So there's like 6's like airbag. That's a bag word. There's rat bag. Rat bags are almost as bad. I don't actually know if there are any 8s through the end of replan here. I'm not too good at my 8s. Should probably go back to 8 school. I'm sure there's an 8 school somewhere for revising Scrabble 8s. You're being pretty quiet, Zach.
Yes, I am. I'm thinking. So, I guess a good leave could be achieved by playing bigger, but I don't see anywhere to play that for a lot of points.
Yeah, you could play bigger at I3. That scores 21. BIGA.
Yes. Ooh, that's even better. Keeps the I.
Mhm. Wabin does do that. So yay, Zach, you got half a move right. You're sounding awfully quiet. I hope I'm not patronising you or something.
No. Sorry.
So long as I'm making you laugh or something, that's absolutely fine.
Now, what options does Lupin have? He is Vogue.
Vogue or Vouge are the 2 5s that would be really awesome to play. Unfortunately, I don't think either of them do. So I guess a good move would be move, as in like when a cow moves, it's called a move. It should be anyway. If it's not a cow moving, then somebody.
And then the adjective form would be a move, right? Like that cow's a move.
Yeah, a moving. Which is a word you can have a moving. And the anagram of a moves, so the front hook for move is a move, and then when you pluralise it with a moves, it makes vamoosh. So there we go. When the cow a moves, it vamooses. So there we go. There's our fun word remembrance for the day. All you have to do is remember that cows move. So, Lukeman plays Goo for 17. I kind of don't really get what that does. You know, it leaves the U and the V together. Why would he even consider doing that? It's just you kind of should split up U's and V's like as quickly as possible. And he had the opportunity to do that. And Wabin now can sort of play a word like brims for 46 points. There's probably something that keeps the S as well. I just can't think of it at the moment. But I immediately suspect Wabin will play there. It's just the best scoring spot on the board. Unless there is a bonus that I'm missing. In which case he'll play the bonus.
There is a 7 in Brest, but it doesn't seem to play. And there are 3 8s, which also do not play.
Which are?
They are through an E, barmiest, through an S, strabism, and through a T, trim tabs.
Ooh. I think Barmy kind of describes us.
How so?
Well, it describes me anyway. You're a sloth, you must be balmy. I'm the duck, I'm kind of less balmy, but still completely balmy.
So Brims scores a nice 46, which would put Wavin in the lead for a spell. Whoops, sorry.
What have you broken over there?
I broke ISC.
That's kind of quite easy to do, actually. So, though I've never heard it make that noise before.
Yeah, that's a special Zach's computer noise only.
Oh, Wabin's internet's gone. So, we can still discuss this rack, because it's still there. Wabin's back. There we are. So Wabin does play Brims. ISE probably just wouldn't submit his move. That can happen sometimes with dodgy internet. Sometimes you could play the move, you see your opponent's timer counted down and you think, why aren't they playing? So you log off, log back on, and then it turns out to be their time and you've lost a load of time and your move hasn't submitted. It's just something you learn over the years of playing on ISE. So Lukman's picked up the W to go with his horrible VU combination. Wabin's telling me he's got to find a better connection at some point. If there's a Starbucks near you, go find that. There's probably Wi-Fi there. Probably. And there's also coffee there. I mean, it's double whammy.
Win-win situation.
Definitely. When I went to a Starbucks in Malaysia, they had like a chili sausage roll or something. It's like, whoa. It's kind of exciting. It's like your mouth went hot, but you were eating a sausage roll. It's like, I don't understand this. And then it's like, they don't sell it in the UK. We must be like pretty boring people. We're curry people in the UK. We're not sausage roll people.
So how can Lukman dump 2 of the 3 icky tiles on his rock right now?
Well, he can play something like Wove or Woven. So Wove plays at I10. That does create a sort of opening at the moment, so Wove would be a very attacking play in terms of what it does. Or something like Woven at 04 kills off the floating N and keeps the board kind of tighter. Unfortunately, none of the moves seem to take the hotspot in row A at the moment, which is possibly what Lukman's worrying about. Okay. Plays Weave for 21. So it kills off both the floating L and N. And even though it gives access to both triples, 2 triples are open. I've always been told if you're going to open triples, open 2 of them. At least then your opponent gets one, you get the other. Whereas if there's only one, your opponent gets that one and you're like, I want a triple too.
That is so true.
So Wabin quickly plays...
to play Duettino here.
Ooh, Duettino.
Instead, Lukman will want to unduplicate those T's.
Mm-hmm.
And preferably get rid of the U.
Mm-hmm. So Wabin's now only 1 point ahead with his vowel dumping player Hour. Takes a P in front. Power. That sounds a bit like power.
Power to the people?
Power to the... Yeah. Got no idea what a power is. It's P-A-U-A. But imagine it's like power to fun people. but can't spell power.
So, Lukeman is getting a little bit low on time for there being 17 tiles left in the bag.
It's kind of more than you would have, though, in a way.
Oh, definitely. I'm in no place to judge, I'm just pointing out the facts.
Though many top players do use all their 25 minutes allocated, or in this case, the 18. They tend to spend enough time. They know where they are in the game. They know how much time they tend to spend. They've been playing so long that they know exactly what to do with their time. So he'll be aware he's low on time, but he probably won't be too bothered about it. He knows he's going to use his time to think carefully about what to do. So my quickest game, I took about 3 minutes over the board over. Because my racks were so rubbish, I was just like, I can't deal with this game anymore, let's get it over with. I kind of did. I lost that game by a lot. But oh well. Back to this game. And the fact that it's more exciting than my kind of games. So Lukeman does exactly what Zach was telling him to do. Which could be a first. Could be the first of many. He plays stud for 18. And Wavin quickly plays ox for 41, so that maximises the score for his X and puts him 24 ahead, going into an endgame that could get pretty tight. If nobody makes an opening, it could all be down to who draws the blank here.
So one thing Lukeman could consider, now that he's behind, is playing in IN at L12. Should open up a bingo lane, and would leave him INORT, which is pretty strong. Other than that, there's only the N on the star that's really open for bingoing here. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, in the bag, I think I count 6 vowels, not including the blank. So 6 vowels out of 19, the bag is particularly consonant heavy right now. So hopefully both Lukeman and Weibin will be aware of that and would prioritise playing their consonants over their vowels.
Ooh, he's going for a tight board.
Yes, he might be more confident on a tight board. You know, it's always down to players' preference as well. If players like playing on a tight board, then they might just prefer to go for it. Because many top players do not play on a tight board regularly, so they'll be less. Their brain will be less in tune with it. They might miss things.
So Wavin has the unplayable ectatic, or ecstatic through an S.
Ectatic. Ectatic. See, I noticed the word tic-tac before I saw tactic. I think I'm hungry. I think I want a tic-tac. So Wavin gets rid of his double C's with catch for 18. That gives him a 32-point lead. But Lukeman's drawn the J and the Z, so he now has the scoring tiles to catch up those 30 points. It's just now whether he has to open something up to do so, or doesn't. So Wavin says he's going over his data, so that probably means he's going to have to pay or something. Pay with money, not pay as in get revenge or something. So Lukeman plays Hisn for 34. That did empty the bag, and he's probably got his fingers crossed that Weibin does not have a 9 timer.
He actually does not. He does not have any playable bingo on the board, I don't believe. Only fleeting through the N, and nothing through the H.
But there must be a high scoring move through the H, because you've got the F, you've got the H, that's already 24 points. He must be able to get something slightly longer than I can find right now. Because all I can see is filth, and that's kind of an all-out word as well.
There's leftish, which leaves an E.
Yeah, leftish. Are you leftish, or are you preferably rightish? Is that politically or handedly?
Handedly, I'm leftish.
Ooh. Left-handedness runs in both sides of my family, but I'm right-handed. I kind of have a weird family. So leftish gets 36. Weibin would then be on 405 points. Okay, so he plays theme for 33. The word that looks really similar to theme or femme or however you say it is theme, V-E-H-M-E. I think they're both French words of origin because you can both have them without the E, and they both don't take S's, I believe. Yeah, they don't take S's. I assume they're both variants of each other. So
not really anywhere good for Lukeman to score with the J here, and he's getting low on time. He's got 28 seconds.
Yeah, and it would sort of be worth him going over time here to make sure if there is something good, he might as well just look for it. I think the best move would actually be Saijo from E11. That scores 36. It won't win him the game, but the spread would be pretty small. Saijo is one of those 4-letter words containing the J that is probably pretty good to know. All the short words with the J, the X, the Q and the Z are good to know. So I'm fairly sure that Lukeman won't win the first game now. Unless somehow Weibin makes a massive cock up. Which won't be very likely. Could happen, but it won't be likely. And it's also impossible for Lukeman to block all of Weibin's outs. He'd have till up here or silt and tilts down here. So Lukeman plays G pretty quickly. He's probably just playing because he was low on time and he couldn't really see much else. Weibin then plays out with tilts for 8 and he wins the first game 4-2-6 to 3-7-1. And Weibin's just gone to find better internet. So we will stay live and see what happens. So Zach.
Yes, Jess.
How do you think the first game went in terms of luck and seeing moves and stuff?
I thought it was very exciting. I think Weibin played very solidly except for the phony, and it was very interesting how the game sort of switched. They switched roles halfway through. Lukeman was leading the whole beginning.
And also Weibin missed Prankle. So it's also important to remember that you can be leading the whole game, but it's the scores at the end that matter. You know, you can be behind by like 100 points the whole game, and then suddenly you bonus out and win by like 5. And you're like, yay, I didn't expect that. I've done that a couple of times. It's kind of exciting.
It was an interesting shape to the board too. That N was open on the star the whole game.
Yeah.
But everything around it was so closed, there was really nowhere to play.
And N's are particularly difficult floaters, I find, to play around, especially at the beginning of a word. Like,
yes.
If you do see a word with an N in it, you rarely see the N at the beginning. So it's something to consider when thinking about words. Always think about where the letters appear in the word as well. Like, S's normally appear at the end of a word. And Q's normally appear at the beginning. Very rarely do you see a word ending in a Q. They are about they don't usually score very much.
The words ending in Q?
Yeah.
They can score a lot if they're placed right.
So can any word. Like EUOI, that could score like 30 points if you got it positioned right.
Yeah, but Trank could score like 70 if it's triple.
I think I got whack once for a good 60, 70 points. So that Q's in the middle. One thing I kind of like about Q words is that, or QU words, you can, in a lot of them, you can get rid of the Q and the U and replace it with a K. So you've got like a whole nother set of words there to learn. So like, there's quinin, Quinin, and you can replace the QU with a K for kinin, Kinin.
I didn't know that was a K.
Teaching you words now.
Yes, you are.
You can do that with quite a lot of the Q words actually, like WACF you can spell with the K as well, Talak you can spell with the K, Umiak you can spell with a C and a K. And double O as well, but not with the Q. You can't double O it with the Q. So double OMIAC, double OMIAK, and double OMIACK, I believe. Yep. Basically learn all the variant spellings of Umiak. You'd be sort of sorted with a load of words once that happens.
I think the one version that's not valid is double OMIAQ.
Yeah, that's the one that isn't valid. Not sure why though, it should be valid. The rest of them are. Love how we're kind of killing time here as well, talking about Q's.
Is Wavin finding like internet somewhere close, or is he like heading out into town to try to find?
I don't know where else he'd get internet from in Singapore. So maybe he's gone down the road or something to find internet. If it was here, we could just piggyback off the hotspots, because we got the kind of Wi-Fi where you could like almost get it anywhere, so long as there's a hotspot. So I could pick it up in a pub or in McDonald's or wherever. Like suddenly I'm in a pub eating food, and then suddenly Facebook is like, your mum is nearby, and I'm like, yes, I know my mum is nearby, she sat opposite me. I've had that at tournaments where I've said, I'm here, and then Facebook is like, your mum's here as well, and it's like, I know that.
Facebook's so helpful.
I know. Sometimes I wonder what we'd do without Facebook. How would we remember people's birthdays? My dad barely remembers my own birthday.
I barely remember my own birthday sometimes.
I just remember my birthday is the day that supposedly Beethoven was born on. Hundreds of years ago, of course. I'm not the same age as Beethoven.
And you just have a really good sense for when Beethoven's birthday is?
No, I actually know that one.
When it's coming from miles away.
Well, I know when Beethoven... I know the day that Beethoven was supposed to be born on. I've looked it up. It's not my favourite composer, though. I don't like classical music. Give me something I can headbang to any day of the week. Should I turn on my radio and kill the time here?
Possibly, or we could just go offline until he's back.
We could. Oh no, Wabin's back. Wabin's back! And I almost fell asleep there. I'm now under my duvet.
You're telling me it's not even 10 a.m. here.
Yeah, it's almost 3 p.m. here and I'm nearly having a nap. And Wabin is in Starbucks getting Wi-Fi from KFC. Not sure how that works, but he's found Wi-Fi. We have a KFC down the road. It's a drive-through KFC. It's amazing. Like, get your chicken and still be in your car.
Are they playing, or is Wabin just examining?
Wabin's examining. I'll tell him to hurry up.
Oh, there they go.
Good job he didn't need me to tell him to hurry up. That would have been worrying. He wouldn't like me to do that. So, Lukeland starts the second game. He's got a nice balanced rack here. Nice and balanced is a pretty good start, I'd say. So something like Podge, that scores 24, or something like Gift, scores 24 as well. You seeing anything?
Vogie scores 26, but it leaves 2 consonants.
Yeah, and P and D don't go very well together, either. So, Lukeman plays Vogie for 26, and Wabin's got all the vowels. The A, E, I, O, U.
The H is pretty good for vowel dumps. He's got H-U-I-A.
Yep, and that one's very good. Doesn't go down really anywhere, but scores more than 13 though. I don't know, are there any good vowel dumps on this board? I think possibly Ohio is probably the best bet. It's spelt like Ohio, but ends in an A. Ohio.
E-U-O-I almost fits, but not quite.
Yeah. I suppose the one positive of Ohio is that E-A-U goes pretty well together as a word. And as letters as well. And it also keeps the E. Of course you want to get rid of the U sort of as quick as possible, but on this board it doesn't seem to be very good.
Oh, or hoagie.
Oh yeah. Isn't that a baseball term, hoagie? Or is that a kind of sandwich?
Yeah.
Sandwich. They probably sell hoagies at baseball stadiums. That's why I'm thinking about it.
Probably, yeah. So hoagie would clear out a lot of the vowels. Scores 14, leaves AU.
Mm-hmm.
AU could get bailed out probably a lot easier than EAU.
Hmm. And it's got a better chance of getting balanced. Do you want to repeat what you said? You kind of went a bit robotic.
Oh, sorry. Considering there's an E on the board already.
Yeah, that as well.
AU is probably not very helpful.
Waving's sort of correctly thinking about this move here. It's not very easy to see hoagie. And there's a load of out dumpers that could be possible that aren't possible. So he's going to have to think about it.
Another possibility would be like UVEA or UVAE. But Ohio isn't probably the best lead either. I would stick with hoagie.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Wabin's spent 3 minutes on this move now, 3.5 minutes. That's considerably long for a first move. I think I remember hearing of a story once where a player spent about 7 minutes on his opening move just because he couldn't work out which position to play his bonus in. I'm pretty sure that story is real.
Was that story about me by any chance, Jess?
I don't think so. But it's probably something you would do.
Just want to know if I'm making it into Legends already.
I think you're already a Virtuals legend. If not, you'll have to conduct yourself into the Hall of Fame.
Right, yeah, I have that power.
Is there a Hall of Fame?
Not as of yet. Although, who knows? Once we're done with this commentary, maybe I'll go make one and put myself in it.
Yeah. Do we have to do like handprints or something in concrete? Or footprints or webbed feet or something?
So he plays HAO.
That leaves AEIU. So it's not the best leave in the world, and How was the best score, but I don't think the leave is particularly worth it, unless Wabin is assuming he's going to pick up a load of consonants. Some days you can actually do that. You can just say, you know what, whatever I play, I'm going to get a nice rack, and it happens. Some days you're like, even if you play the right move, it's just rubbish. So Lukman plays...
They picked up a bunch of consonants.
There we go, Wabin's having a good day. Either that or KFC's giving him good luck.
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. KFC chicken is good, you can't deny that. At least I like it. Especially when it's not shaped like a rat.
So, probably play Thub here from K4. I don't like the three vowels with the consonant, but...
Yeah, and especially since Lukman's just played 4 consonants, Wabin will be aware that it's likely he'll get a vowel pickup next time. Well, likely, it's always possible. But I wouldn't like to leave myself with a load of vowels after my opponent played a load of consonants. So Wabin plays a but for 22. That's not like the butt you sit on. That's a different kind of butt.
Oh, really? I was hoping that would count as an orlet word.
It might count as an orlet word.
Not two butts, but a butt.
Yes. Hopefully we're not standing, you know, or like putting our butts in complicated places. Not sure where that would be, but I don't even want to know where everybody else's butt has gone.
This is a nice extension from Lukeman.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he maximised his J spot, and Webin's now got a pretty rubbish rack. If only I was a playable word, if only Quiz was playable, he'd be able to do amazing with that rack. As it is, he plays Wiz for 43. It's always better to take points, like with for 43, than it is to change. You never know, your rack could miraculously develop a U or something. Could happen. You know, you can play out of most racks, but if you could score 30 or 40 points, it's just not worth changing, because changing gets you 0, whereas the 30 or 40 points gets you 30 or 40 points.
And if necessary, you could always exchange the next turn, but chances are you probably scored more than you would have in the first turn, than you would have.
Yeah. So,
only 8 here is Caribheat from a C, which is not available.
Unless he fishes it out of the bag and places it on the board. So, Lukeman plays outbid for 22. That's kind of what you do on eBay. You outbid somebody else for what you want. So that puts Lukeman 18 points ahead.
And I'm seeing a nice spot for Wavin to dump QI at L6.
Yeah. He could also play the I as well, so QI gets 25. As he's done. And as always, when your opponent dumps the Q, you're sat there staring at a U. Seems to be quite common for me anyway. So there aren't very many kind of scoring hotspots on this board. Lukeman does have the front hook for way, that's a T for tway. So I kind of expect him to play there. Because he probably won't play a move through the O down column 2, because that would just open a load of triples, and he probably doesn't want to do that at this point. So,
is it possible he would want to keep the T though for the hook later when he'll maybe get more points?
He could do that as well. Sometimes keeping letters for hooks is useful, but if Weibin has the hook and uses it, then his T is sort of useless again. So, of course, Weibin will know tway. The hooks for the 3s are particularly important to learn. If you are going to learn any hooks, learning the hooks for the 3s are most important. My sister and I are currently trying to go through all the hooks to the 3s. So while she's learning 3-letter words, she's learning 4s as well. And by learning the 3s and their hooks, you get to play more bonuses. Sounds kind of weird, but you do, because when you learn the hooks, then you learn where to put them. So, now that I've stopped talking about bonuses, Lugeman played Lum for 18, and Weibin takes out the triple with Or for 15. So Weibin's 4 points ahead again. And Lukeman has some...
Not really anything good with the K and the T ending in a T to make tway.
Yeah. Something like dirt But at the same time that there aren't openings on the board, you know, this board is still very, very closed like the last game. Yeah, kind of don't want it to go the same way. So Lukeman's probably aware that he needs to win this game to have any chance of getting through to the semis, to play Orlet of all people. So he's going to have to play slightly more open. So he does play Dirt for 17.
Both of these guys having some trouble with rack balancing, or at least rack grooming.
I've never heard it like that before. Rack grooming.
Rack grooming. It's totally a thing.
It sounds like something a Scrabble pedophile would do.
No.
Yes.
No, we all do it.
I noticed I said pedophile. In England, we actually say paedophile. But I'm being drawn to being American at least, so I'm going to start pronouncing words differently. So Wabin plays wife for 23. I hope he's not like insinuating something from that. Probably just the best move anyway, even though it leaves 2 E's and an O. So yeah.
AEN plays at C3 for a decent amount, 35.
KON. Yeah. Was that you again?
No.
He's lying.
Not at all. It was Wabin actually.
Yeah, Wabin's ruined your.
He's being difficult. He's sending me those noises from Singapore.
I'll send you a noise right now, and then we can laugh at this. I'll send you a noise.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Woo! It worked.
That's what you picked.
Okay, I'll do this one instead.
Okay.
There
Now that we're being mature adult commentators, let's get back to Wabin's rack, which has a lot of vowels still.
Yeah. Lukeman played Kenna for 43. I didn't know that, and Zach didn't suggest it either. But Kenna's definitely good. 43 points is a lot, and it does leave just the O on the rack, and it's great for turnover as well. So yeah, Wabin's got to find a way to get rid of the vowels now.
So there's always Toia, which doesn't seem to play in a helpful spot right now.
Well, K8 would be pretty good for Toia.
Yes, that's true. Leaving OME, which at least gives him a better shot of getting his rack back to a balance.
Yep. I kind of want to send you more noises now. It's just going to be my thing, just sending Zach a load of noises.
You're the host, you're in charge.
Yeah, but you could do the same as well, but the sound's off on my laptop, so it won't really work. Oh, Wabin's gone again, but he's back. while I send Zach another sound.
You're
Oh,
I got interrupted.
it cut out. Let's do it again.
despicable.
Okay. Awesome.
We're definitely both
Okay.
despicable.
So, Lukeman now has Asiagos.
I can't even spell that.
It's a type of cheese.
I still can't spell it.
Asiagos, which does not double when he plays it in column 11. It does double if he plays it in row B, except that opens up a huge triple spot for Waven to take advantage of.
And if you ever need to remember this, just remember it as Asia goes.
Yes, Asia goes.
Don't know where Asia goes, but it turns into a cheese. So Lukeman knows all about his cheese. And
Puts him up by 81, and Waven now has a more balanced rack. He's getting there.
slowly but surely he's getting there. The one thing that Asiagos does is create a wonderful E hotspot at F11. The E fits in lovely as tripped over my tongue. So something like Meg at 11E gets you 40 points. That is an amazing amount of points considering there's not really much else to do on the board. You still trying to search for it or something?
Search for what?
I don't know. Whizzes, the hotspot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's there. He also has a longer word, Gemote.
Gemote.
Gemote. Which plays in column 13 or column 11, but it slots, or puts the G in the triple lane if he plays in column 11. Meg would probably be safer. Also scores about the same, I think.
Yeah, it does score about the same. Maybe it is important to consider at this point the only vowels in the bag are 4 A's, 5 E's, and a U. So the bag is particularly consonant heavy right now. So there's 10 vowels in the bag out of 32 tiles. So maybe Waybin missed the Whizz's hook. Or maybe he's just trying to keep the board slightly more open.
That is something to keep in mind, because if he did take the Wizard spot, that would pretty much be the end of scoring in that region.
Yeah. Now that there's still quite a lot of scores that can still happen, especially from Lukeman here, because SOH is a word. So something like Ra is possible for 35. Now it's an easy 30 points that happens down there, and there's also putting a consonant at E11 just gets a zillion. But also Gemma also blocks the bonus lane along row B, so that probably wasn't the best idea in the world.
That is true. Maybe he's hoping that by working the board this way that he'll be able to create more setups.
Possibly.
Meg scores
40.
more, but it would be really easy for Lukeman to shut it down after that, probably.
Well, it would keep row B open, and assuming Waybin would then pick up consonants afterwards, he would be pretty close to a bonus again. And there is always, hopefully, if the bonus did start with like an E or an S, then there is at the bottom of the board as well, making I'd or Ids. Or there is an 8 through the W of wife, possibly. So Lukeman plays ah for 35.
Ooh, ah.
You're supposed to use the sounds, Zach. Use the sounds.
I'm not that technologically savvy. I can't.
That sounded so wrong. That was an ah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So Wavin needs to probably get rid of some consonants, mostly the F.
He needs to score though. Scoring is the biggest thing.
There is now an S or an O hook on SOH.
Yeah.
Which he can, well, not an O, unless it's the blank. But.
So Wavin plays fur for 18. That opens up a possible 8 through the F in row A. That's probably the best decision. He's just making sure he's got a lot of options to bonus through. So Lukeman takes out the column 15 hotspot with Perns for 34. So that puts him now 105 points ahead. And Wavin is getting bogged down with some complicated letters.
If I were Wavin, I would want to open up the other, like the lower right side of the board, probably.
Yeah. It's not really possible with this rack though. He's gonna want to get rid of the Y at least. And I mean, he'd sort of only have to play the Y to make the opening in the lower part of the board. The V isn't too terrible with this rack. It's a V. You know, V's aren't the best letter in the world. So I guess maybe Oi at J13 would open the board up quite nice. It does mean that an E has to be at the beginning of the word, and that's not the best thing to do. You normally find E's towards the end, but...
Well, or the S.
Yeah, S's don't really go in the middle either.
That's true.
So, they can go in the middle.
A little bit easier if... Well, actually I don't know if it would change much, but you could play AY at L11. The problem is then if Lukeman blocks that spot, then he's also blocking the N row.
Yeah, and that's also something to consider. It's all well and good making an opening, but if it's then quite easy to block or block another opening or something, then it's just almost not worth doing. So Wavin uses the Lana's hook here and plays Vile for 28. So he's scoring, but he's also playing a lot of tiles. He might be hoping to pick up the blank. He might be just hoping he draws something good. So, Lukeman has the blank instead, but he's also got the X and 2 C's. But having both C's does make it a lot easier to block. Row N now, he could play something like Eki, I don't really know how to say that, E-double-C-E. And because Wavin doesn't have the blank, he can't bonus anymore. And that would sort of kind of end this game, I think.
Yeah, not looking like there was much... Oh.
I don't really agree with X. I mean, the F isn't a very useful floater, and Eki does... Yeah, Eki would set up sort of an X hotspot as well. And you would be keeping the X for the end game as well. And the X wouldn't really do much. Keeping double C's, like... You know, here Wavin would have the chance to bonus. You'd get stuck with C's, you know. Of course, you'd probably still win, knowing you have the blank, but... I wouldn't want to chance it like that. Though it could be that Lukeman just doesn't know the word Eki. So Weibin plays Sai for 28. That puts Weibin 72 points behind. Lucan will be aware that Weibin has the possibility of entangle or regentle. Or regental. You know, like a region. Through the E. That's probably going to be it in terms of bonuses, so all he has to do is block the E, or play a bonus for the E if he's got a bonus. There was the right floaters, using all my snooker knowledge accumulated from the last 19 years of my life. Crucible would be pretty nice if it played.
Doesn't look like Lukeman actually has any bingos, but I suppose he could really just play anything to block that lane and he'll be set.
Yeah, he should really make sure he plays enough tiles though to leave him with an almost certain outplay next move. So even a move like the front hook for Eki, which is Reki, R-E-C-C-E, you know, that plays 4 tiles, you leave 3 on your rack, you draw one of A-E-G-L-N-N-R-T. You just certainly leave an outplay with that, and you also create another possible place to play out along row 11 as well. Now, he's played Reki, but not in the position I suggested. It's kind of more defensive. I don't know, I guess I could still agree with that. Doesn't really matter. Lukeman still wins. But, I don't know, I might have been just slightly more bold there. Just in case I picked up something like an N or something that just meant that was the only place to go out. Playing Reki in the other place was more likely to create an out. Because at the moment he will have an out through the W of wife, and also he's got stuff through the G. So he's lucky in that regard.
No really good options for Weibin here. Game is kind of lost for him, and as we know, spread does not matter in this tournament at this stage because it's best of 3 games, and the only time it would matter is if you happen to have an equal spread to your opponent and you tied one of the games.
And there's only been one tie in the whole of the June and July tournament, and that was between me and Orla. So we managed the only tie. So at this point, Weibin can just play tiles, you know, it doesn't really matter. Lukeman will play out anyway. You know, obviously he might consider this as tournament practice, which is what it is for a lot of us. This is tournament practice. So he will be trying to minimise the spread loss. Because that's what you tend to do in tournaments. In games you lose, it's always about how little the spread loss is. So that when you know, if you are in a chance to get a prize, having a really good spread is a lot better than having a really rubbish spread. I once won a division by about 2 spread points. So spread really does matter.
I won a division by 1 spread point once.
You bettered me.
I did. I cut it closer.
So I think Weibin's sort of gone again. His timer's stuck at 0000, which that normally means he's gone. So we could probably like talk more about our dodgy tournaments or something.
Oh, wait.
No, when you re-observe a game, the time goes back up.
Oh, okay.
You learn all these little ISC tricks when When you observe games as much as I do.
And he's left.
I assume is that dodgy KFC Wi-Fi? It's those chickens, man. Probably pecked through the internet cable or something.
Kentucky Fried Connection.
That's what it stands for.
It is. It really is. I didn't even know KFC had Wi-Fi.
Maybe in Singapore they do.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, so Wayburn plays Get for 13. Lukeman plays Walls for 9, and Lukeman wins the game 3-6-4 to 2-6-8. So he wins by 96, and that was a pretty low scoring game considering the last game where it was just bonus, 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 bonus. Bingo, bango, bongo, bongo. Like loads of bonuses.
So Waven just asked me if that was the low scoring Stratosphere record.
Probably.
Possibly.
I have actually won a top division game 310 to 290. I'm not kidding about that either. I wish I was. I actually won a game with 310 points.
Wow. That's... I can't say I've... Or maybe I did that in lower divisions a while ago, but...
The times when breaking 300 was like a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. So it's all going down to the decider now. So, yeah, it's gonna get pretty tense here. Not that you could probably tell, Zach and I are still gonna go absolutely mental. This is mental in terms of craziness, not in terms of, like, actual crazy people.
Oh, here they go.
So Wavin starts the decider, and he immediately has that wonderful tile known as a blank on his rack.
And he has 3 8s, Devilkin, Veinlike, and Vinelike, but obviously he can't play an 8 as he's starting.
And passing would just give it away to Lukeman that he is close to a bonus.
I might play Kiln here.
Yeah, Kiln is pretty good.
Or maybe Link would be better because it sets up more hooks.
Yes, it does as well. It depends how open you'd like to be or not. There's a cute 5 here, liking. As in, like stuff, Likin. So Wayburn does go for Link like Zach suggested, because it has plenty of front hooks.
And he has the blanks, so he can hit them all.
Yeah. Except, Lukeman actually has one of those front hooks right now. He's got Clink. So I'm guessing that he will definitely use the front hook. It is the best place to score on the board. So something like Thack or Tact or Cult. You know, a move like that using Clink would be the best. Cult also takes an eye on the end. So that's always something to consider if Cult is played.
Interesting he kept a U with 2 T's.
Yeah, that's why I was considering Cult. Even leaving VAT, I think it's kind of better than UTT.
So Waven has, let's see, Eviction to the N, Monative through the N, Novities through the N.
They sound like biscuits. Or maybe I'm just thinking of McVitties.
Ooh, Involative and Vomitive through the V.
Vomitive sounds kind of pukey. We don't really want to be dealing vomitive at this point in time.
It's actually a noun, it takes an S, it's an emetic, something that induces vomiting.
Well, I don't want one. So Weibin plays Monative for 63. And, Lukeman's sort of caught out by the fact that, he didn't play as many tiles last turn, and now he's only got the one vowel, which is the U. And
he does have a nice way of getting rid of a lot of the consonants by playing up tilt.
Through
the I, leaving the R, which is probably more synergist than anything else he could leave.
Yeah. And it does play 5 tiles, so. So he plays Blurt for 18. He leaves P, T, L. So he's kind of relying on drawing vowels next turn, but we'll have to wait and see if that actually works out. So Weibin has a balanced rack.
Weibin says he just got his laptop plugged in, so that saves him some trouble.
Yeah, just in case he suddenly runs out of juice in the middle of the game. And he's like, no, I ran out of juice. So, yeah, something like Cam for 22 at J4, that sets up the S front hook. So it creates another S hook on the board. And it gets rid of the clunkier C and M from the rack. So Weibin plays a mock. A mock for 27.
And no place to play Enthalpy for Lukeman, so he will probably want to play Consonant Dump.
Something like Ply or Foot or Nth or whatever.
Or Hype, HYP,
Yeah, or
at
Hype.
age 13. It's 38 points.
Yeah, that's amazingly high for just a 3-letter word. And Liquid does play Hype for 38. So, wow, I'm yawning already. No wonder.
So, Weibin has Escapade. There he goes.
Wasn't Weibin on an escapade to Starbucks?
Yes, he was.
So after Weibin's brief escapade to Starbucks, he finds himself 87 points ahead at just about the halfway through point in the deciding game. And Lukeman has drawn both the Q and the J. So he's got good scoring here. He's also got a U. So that will allow him to score a bit with the Q. But I don't really see anywhere good for the Q right now. So I guess the J is going to be the one that's played.
Not seeing amazing things for the J either.
No. The board's not very nice. So I'm guessing Lukeman would take quite a bit of time here, considering there isn't anywhere good for the J or the Q.
Problem is, he doesn't. Does he even have a 4 on his rack with the J or the Q?
There's Jute, but he doesn't want to play the U either.
Right, yeah, so he doesn't want to play the U off.
And he could play Jete onto the E, Jete. The E of the first E of Escapade, D15. So, and that's kind of the best I've seen so far. And it's not very good. And if you can hear strange growling noises, that's my tummy. It's telling me it's tea time. And I had chocolate shortbreads in the fridge. I baked them yesterday. Oh no, I baked them Friday. Oh no, Friday was yesterday. I baked them Thursday. It was kind of like an explosion of shortbread. I sort of didn't cook it long enough, and then the shortbread kind of exploded when I poured caramel on top. But it still tastes like caramel, chocolate and shortbread. And you can't get much better than a self-baked tray bake. And that's cake minute over.
So what is the value in Lukeman exchanging?
Well, I guess if it did...
Something to consider, right? Because...
Oh, definitely. Because if there's not any good moves on the board, like, even though he could score 22, I mean, is it worth it to keep QULM? If he changes, I'd probably change JNLT. Because QUE isn't a terrible leave, and you don't want to, like... I mean, you've got the U, and you've got the Q. I mean, it sort of allows you to score next turn. Okay. Plays Jet for 24. Not kind of... I don't understand that, but then... He's probably evaluated that to death and felt that that was the best play. Even though it's pretty open, considering there's 5 A's and 6 O's on scene. So that really is risky. But
And Raven has only one vowel. He's got the Z.
And finds an amazing double-double for 48. Fettling.
Very nice.
That's like a Nigel-like word, that one. That would deserve a round of applause. Wait for it. I've got an applause button. I'm just going to have to send this to you. Oops. T. Yay.
Very short applause.
But it's definitely an applause.
Yes, it is. So what does Lukeman have now to play his Q for points? Looks like he's got...
I don't see any words with the Q for points here. It's kind of worrying. You would have thought he would at least had something. So he's going to have to play some other move, either...
NOH at L2?
Yeah. The reason NOH is good is because it limits the length of the word that could be placed directly underneath it. Because you can easily get 30 points there, and then if you allowed, say, a longer word to go under M3, you know, from M3 to the right, that could score 40, even 50 points. So, not just limits it to going from M1 to M3. Unless there's an S, and then the score would explode. And QUEL is pretty good kind of leave. balanced, the Q and the U are still together. It works.
Kind of a bummer that Lukeman's had the Q this long left.
Yeah. But changing it when you're sat there with a U on your rack, some players would do that because it's the Q. Some players wouldn't do that because they've got the U with it. Guess it depends what kind of player you are. So Wabin has completely transformed his rack from having only an E vowel to having an E, an A and an I. And he can completely blow his score even further up with 4 at M1. FAW. For 46 points, leaving Zine ZINE, which would then play at A12. So it's kind of a double whammy there. And kind of finally, Lukeman has a 5-letter Q word on his rack, but he chooses not to play it. He plays elm for 30, hooking onto the end of jowl to make jowl. Or jowl to make jowl, yeah. And Wabin has some chicken on his rack that probably is sold at the KFC. He's getting Wi-Fi from Zinger. So, more chicken, yay!
So Zinger doesn't seem to play as well as just Zine.
Yeah. So obviously Zine at A12, like I suggested before. Wabin will kind of be making sure here that there isn't a bonus, like with a floating E. If either the E's of Escapade was slightly more open, he'd have energize. That rubbish American spelling of energize, but he'd have energize. It's kind of a Star Trek-y kind of word. Oh, and Zine has opened up a wonderful opportunity for Lukeman to finally play his Q for lots of points.
Quilt.
68 big ones. Brings Lukeman to within 100 points, finally. He's 84 behind.
And now Wabin has some rack grooming to do.
I think rack grooming sounds a bit like an all-it phrase, not just a word. A phrase.
Oh, oh wow, he's gone up to phrases now.
Oh yeah. Gonna start off with all-it words, now all-it phrases.
Soon we'll have Orlet poems and
Yeah.
Orlet novels. You'll see the section in your bookstore.
Yeah. And then there'll be like all-it books. And sooner or later the whole language would be full of all-it words. Everything would just be amazing. So Wabin finds another awesome player, Werid, for 38. So he leaves a G on his rack, and that is pretty good. Unfortunately for Lukeman, Quilt has blocked Oxidizer for like a zillion on the triple at the top. But he can play Oxide for 47 at the bottom, which he has done. And now Wabin's got the second blank, and kind of that's sort of game over now, I feel. There are 7 here like Boggarts and Borridges. There's no doubt going to be a bonus through the E.
So through the E, he's got Bargoose, Begrown. Oh, Begrown doesn't play. Brocages and Brokages.
With the C and the K.
Yes, and Grosbeak. And those might be the only things that play.
Unless there's something through the D.
Through the D, just Boggards, which doesn't play.
So I'm expecting Weibin to just find the bonuses through the E here. Something like Bar Goose. It's at least related to a duck. I mean, I can just about deal with that. Probably. If it is in fact a goose.
Bar Goose, a type of goose.
Hooray for Ziziva! A definition that you could sort of guess anyway. So Weibin sees brokages with the C. Obviously C is slightly better than the K because it doesn't allow any parallels underneath or on top. Lukeman quickly plays Z's for 43, like those American Z's. Not Z's like we have in England. Z's are way better.
Suit yourself. Well, so Weibin doesn't have many places to play now, but he kind of likes it that way because he's up by 96, and he's about to win the game as long as nothing opens up for Lukeman.
And Weibin will make sure not to make any openings whatsoever on this board. There is no way he's even gonna sniff an opening. Like as soon as Lukeman opens the board, Weibin's just gonna take it. So the Y is the best scoring tile here. I guess the bottom right part of the board is the best scoring place because of the double word squares there. Sure, there's something there. There's something like Udon for 17. Scores quite well, sets up the Y. Not sure how it sets up the Y, but yeah, it sets up the Y. So it sets up the Y, making soy. As well as possibly the Y here, but the only vowel that goes there is a U. And then there's Guy as well, so it kind of double hotspot for scoring, and also it leaves 5 in the bag, and that would stop Lukeman changing, which is kind of important, because if Weibin did leave, say, 7 in the bag, and Lukeman changed all 7, he would know exactly what was in the bag and would be able to plan for that. So Weibin plays Oi for 20, using the last E of the game. And Lukeman doesn't open the board at all, he plays Agio for 19. Almost forcing Weibin to play either one tile or playing loads of tiles. I do notice that there is a possible out bonus for Lukeman here if Weibin can see it. There's Padroni.
Padroni, yeah.
Sounds kind of Italian, I bet you know it.
I do.
So Zach likes Italian. So.
Oh, he's so close.
So close to Padroni. No, he might just play the T here because that is literally the only way he's gonna bonus. He might play something like Tab.
Yeah, if he plays Tab and draws the S, then he could have something.
We say something. We're not sure quite what yet. Let's hope he doesn't need to go to the doctor for the something. But
he would have Harrison or Porinas.
Yeah, so Tab is probably the best bet. So he'd have like a what is it, a 1 in 4 chance of drawing either the S or the D? And why would you do that? The D was in the bag! The D was in the bag, Zach! We knew it all along! He should have listened to us!
Oh no! If only he could hear us. We haven't established the telepathic connection with him yet. I haven't commentated enough of his games.
I haven't either. We've already established the telepathic connection between us. We need to sort of reach out our psychic powers to everyone else.
So had he played Tab, Waven would have gone out with air guns. But had he played the D, or
The T somewhere else.
yeah, if he played the T somewhere else, then he would have had Padroni to go out.
Yeah. Or Wabin would have tried to block it. He would have just played QI. You know, that would have just blocked Padroni pretty easily. So either way, Lukeman wouldn't have been able to play out anyway, but oh well.
But had he played Tab and had he drawn the S, he may have been able to win. Because I don't know if Waven could block that.
No, I don't think Wabin could block that. I know he would have had to.
He'd have Div.
Yeah, he'd play onto the V.
Yeah, he played DIV. So it was over anyway. Maybe that's why Lukeman played Par.
Maybe he just knew deep down that he would go no further in this tournament. So obviously Wabin's got an orphan here. He does have air guns, like Zach said. Obviously he's going to want to leave a 2-move play out. It'd be more exciting if he could get to 500, but I don't think that's possible. I would like Snug. Has quite a snug fit on the board. It scores 17. It leaves Raggy up here. Sounds like something Scooby-Doo would say. Raggy! I think it actually is something Scooby-Doo would say. But that's probably just one of many choices that Wabin is currently considering. Obviously, he doesn't want to open the board out like now, because it might give a chance for Lukeman to just go out, and he probably just wants to like maximise his score, just to like be like, yeah, I got loads of points. You know, get the best possible win and stuff. Because you always want to win by the most points. You don't want to like win by like 1 point, rather win by like 150.
Unfortunately, playing the N off for Nab does not give him an outplay, hooking the S for Snab.
What about if he played NU at H5 to give like the G front hook? Is there a 5-letter word ending in G?
No.
I guess Snug looks pretty good right about now. Waving can think as long as he wants to here. You know, it's... Well, obviously not as long as he wants to, because he doesn't want to run out of time and actually lose the game. He could also have lost internet again. He could have Kentucky fried his own connection.
Making his own KFC.
Mm-hmm. But at least he's got enough time here that, even if he just passed, I'm sure there's no way back for Lukeman. Just notice there's a lot of 8-letter words on this board. There's 5 of them.
But only 3 of them are bingos.
Which is quite weird. No wonder the board looks so long. Just don't know what other move to think about here. So Raven plays Rangi for 20. Lukeman plays Rind for 21, and Raven will put us somewhere. Which sounds a bit bad, he will put us somewhere. Hopefully not on the naughty step. I'm pretty sure we have a naughty step. At least if there isn't one in virtuals, we definitely got one on ISC. Yes, it's where us helpers tell players, no, we don't like you, we're putting you on the naughty step. It's almost like the equivalent of giving you a censor. But it's more embarrassing. So Wavian plays Sir for 5, goes out and wins the deciding game 479 to 381 to play Orlet Bullock in the semi-finals, which begin on Monday. Tuesday. No, it begins on Monday night. Tuesday if you're here. In the UK.
Yes, and the winner of Orlet versus Waven will play the winner of
Jackson versus Randy.
Randy Hurton versus Jackson Smiley. And the winner of that will determine our Stratosphere champion for June and July. So be sure to tune in for next week for more commentary and possibly other fun things. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye. Have a good day, guys.